Offboarding is especially helpful for the administrative staff. The manual process of reaching out to managers and employees at the time of exit is easily managed now in your iSolved HCM system. This feature is especially helpful when recovering company assets, closing out the employee's benefits, uploading the termination documents, such as the resignation letters, disciplinary action, termination letters, finalizing the offboarding process, which includes assigning a new manager in the system and then moving employees from the terminated manager to the new implemented manager, managing garnishments, direct deposits, and paying out any unused vacation hours. The administrator uses the pending termination dashboard. This dashboard provides filters, creating a very user-friendly feature. Communication is increased between teams and members of management, and the offboarding feature makes organizing all of those moving components easy to manage. The offboarding wizard categorizes, organizes, and implements all of those moving parts, all of the document termination details as you see listed here, collecting company assets. This way you know what to ask for at the exit table, terminating benefit plans, closing out the accrual payouts, inactivating direct deposits, terminating garnishments and pay items, and again, reassigning employees to their new manager. When you log into your iSolved HCM, you will navigate to Employee Admin Tools, Employee Administration, Pending Terminations. The assigned manager sees only those employees who report directly to them. And this is what your page will look like. So we have the company information, and then we have the offboarding template. So just as we have onboarding templates, we can also write specific offboarding templates. Employee information. I can see very clearly here the employee's name. I can see when that person was terminated and the reason why. If this person is eligible for rehire or not, any employee notes. So this person is going to be retiring. And then, as I mentioned earlier, you can manage the termination documents. And you'll see across the bottom of the page, we do see that a resignation letter was uploaded there. So all you'll do is enter in all of these required fields, determine if this employee is eligible for rehire or not, enter in any helpful notes, and then attach that supporting documentation. This section provides a live view of the manager's experience using the pending terminations wizard. The majority of actions for offboarding are drop-down pick lists. I will drop down on legal, select my company. If you have more than one, you will see them. Drop down on offboarding template, select my offboarding template. Again, if you have more than one, you will see those available. And now I will go to my employee list and select the employee. The termination date should be the true termination date. What was the last day of employment? And now the status. The statuses are built out according to your client's needs. I will select terminated. If I select insubordinate, the termination type automatically defaults to employee termination where it was involuntary. I would not select the eligible for rehire in this instance, and I would put down notes about what happened. After adding my notes, I will then go down to the documents area, select the upload document, and then underneath the document type, I'm going to select termination. Again, these types, the document type listed in the pick list will be built by us in client management. Now I'm going to upload my document. So here I'm entering in my written warning, add a document button. This is a good place to upload items that are associated with any past write-ups or verbal warnings, indicating that this is a repeat offender and that is why this person was terminated. And then I would also upload my termination letter. Once I've completed these steps, I'll navigate to the black action bar and I will select the word save. Now I have saved my offboarding process and I see that Joseph Smith has joined Daniel Miller in my pending terminations list. If you need to edit that employee's record, so here I have gone to the employee list. I'm still looking at my pending terminations, and you'll notice that in the smaller pop-out box in the black action bar, you'll see the words next or either go back to list. This is where we can edit employee termination information and remove the employee from the employee list. So this person will no longer show up in your active employee list once you've taken these steps. They are now considered a terminated employee. Managing assets is extremely easy. Of course, your organization would have to use the company assets under employee management human resources. And as long as the person has had their assets assigned to them in the system while they were an active employee, you will be able then to remove those items, company assets from their list and show that you need to ask for that back at the exit table. So here I can see that I have an ID badge, I have a laptop, and I have a mobile phone. If this person returns these items to me, I will enter in a date returned. And now it's time for me to assign my new manager roles to the employees. Again, you will notice that this is an offboarding wizard, which makes it really easy. Pretty much a point and click system. You're going to hear me say that a lot about iSolved because it truly is set up to be a very user-friendly point and click system. Notice that my replacement drop-down pick list contains all of those managers' names or the supervisors' names. So, depending upon your organization, you may see supervisor, you may see manager, either or, they are going to have the responsibilities that they're supposed to have attached to that title. So, here, if I chose, I would select Ethan Money, Michael's Time Company, and now Ethan Money is the manager the employees will report to in the system. So, now you can see in the assigned roles I am terming Cheryl Lawson, and now we have Ethan Money coming into play here. Under the job assignments, so default job assignments, job title was implementation, supervisor is the role, and the replacement again will be Ethan Money. But all you do is point and click for that person, and then you would be able to assign that person to that role. Organization roles. No organization roles exist for this employee. So if you want the organization roles function with a drop down pick list as well, when employees are assigned to an organization level, such as division, department, branch, etc., we can also set those up for you. If Cheryl was moving into an area where she would receive any alerts for pending or scheduled performance reviews, this section of the pending terminations dashboard would allow you to put a stop to that workflow. So it would break the workflow, and those alerts would not go out any longer for Cheryl. Now the black action bar has changed just a little. We can see that we have previous save and back to list. So returning to the previous page, of course, would allow you to make any edits before you saved if you wanted to go over your work. Save is where you select that link so that it will complete the offboarding process 100% and send to the next steps. And then, of course, going back to the list continues with additional pending termination request. This page is going to let you kind of look over a little bit about the steps that you've just taken and provide for you dates. And now if you hit save, you're going to move the workflow to the following assigned user types. So the HR admin now will go through the HR offboarding wizard and complete that. So if we click save, the manager is finished. So now we're looking at Cheryl's record. And before the termination process was completed, the edit and delete button were present. Now that that process has completed, edit and delete will no longer be an option here because the termination request was sent to HR, and HR or the client user is now the person who must push this through. And now we're going to look at the client user experience. So the email notification, as you can see here, shows us that the offboarding process for Cheryl Lawson has been initiated. And when I, the client user or the admin, go into employee admin tools, pending terminations, I am now able to see the buttons: edit, delete, reset termination process, send back to the manager for corrections. So there's certain things that I can do here. I'm able to look over the work, ensure I have the detail that I need and that it's also correct. And of course, the client user will be able to see the buttons because they are completing the process. Okay, client users manage the benefit stop dates from the pending terminations dashboard. So I can see here, again, my black action bar allows me to go previous, next. I can go back to the list. But the most important thing here are the stop dates for those benefits. And now I can see the leave accruals, the pending absences, and notice as the pop-out box occur down the page, you're able to see the different sections. So across the top, I have the accrual type, the plan name, current balance action, payout options, additional check types, and the payout earnings. So what I've done for you here is I've shown you steps. In the current balance action, I have selected payout current balance up to the limit allowed by plan and activate plan. On the payout option, I have selected pay with additional check. And for the additional check type, I have selected additional check. And of course, once you have selected an item for the drop down pick list in the fields prior to, the system is going to automatically let you know that the payout option is going to require an additional check selection. So the system's really great about helping guide you through. On top of being a wizard, you are able to see if there is an error or if there is something else required. Now moving back over to the left side of the page under pending absences, I have selected to delete all pending I have selected to delete all unprocessed absences. And then I would select the word next, and it moves me to where I can see all of the options that I have selected. And then it moves me into direct deposits. Again, here I am going to inactivate direct deposits. I'm going to stop deductions, and I'm going to manage earnings and the memo calculations from this one page. The next step is to terminate any garnishments on the employee's last day of work by using the expiration date. And of course, if there are any pending performance reviews, the client user will have the opportunity to manage all of those before exiting the system. The miscellaneous field section allows the client user to manage any accruals. If your organization is using the iSoft Go mobile app, you can turn that off. The work scheduling, and of course the generating of uniform sizes. A wonderful feature about the offboarding wizard is the system will run an audit to validate the input that the management team and client user entered during the offboarding process. If anyone made any changes to the system after the process finished, the audit will identify those changes. It will then run an audit to identify company assets if they were not collected from the employee, as shown in the print screen. Benefits may need adjusting as well. The audit will help the person closing out this offboarding process identify areas requiring additional actions. At this point, there are no data conflicts, so you're able to select save, and now you will be able to see that your pending termination list is empty and you have completed all of the steps in order to move Cheryl from an active employee to a terminated employee. Client users and partners are the only people who can set up the permission steps. So this will need to be built so that it fits your organizational needs. Offboarding templates are set up in accordance to your organizational needs as well. Notice that they do have workflows. This is what sends out the alerts. So here I would have add new manager IT, HR offboarding. Again, the workflow route would be add new. And then I'm going to move them over so that I can see the title, the description, and the legal company access for creating that offboarding template. This again is a tier step demonstrating the types of steps you would take. So underneath the assigned user type, I am going to select my IT manager. I would then name the template appropriately. And now we can see what the full offboarding workflow looks like. The before on the left and then the after on the right. And this is the appropriate setup. We want the assigned manager to initiate the offboarding. And then we want the HR offboarding. The communication then would go to the client user, or the, again, this could be any title, but they do have to be a client user in the system. They're either going to complete the wizard or they're going to delete it from the dashboard. The workflow would be, if it's complete, then the employee was terminated. If it is not complete and it's deleted from the dashboard, then the offboarding was canceled. Next, your IT offboarding manager will approve, and then the approval will go to the HR or the client user, and then the assigned manager will approve or reject. There are particular actions when we are writing the offboarding template. So here for my HR offboarding, I am assigning pages that will include termination details, the manager or supervisor, miscellaneous field, assets, pay items, benefit plans, garnishments, leave accruals, and performance reviews. The IT, that's the HR offboarding. The IT offboarding is assets. So what does that mean? It means your client user is driving the termination of all things listed in the top columns. Your manager of IT is managing assets. Once everything is completed and your client user and manager work together to terminate those assets and other items, the manager of offboarding, the assigned manager, would then see termination details and manager, supervisor, and performance reviews, and they would be able to stop those things. So this is where we decide who will see what. The review audit report is under the employee management human resources employee documents. And you'll see here that it is titled Offboarding Audit Report. You'll be able to see when that was uploaded, and the system will do that for you. And then you'll just simply click on View Document. This is going to open into an Excel spreadsheet. As you can see, I have one shown here with different tabatures. So I have my termination details, employee documents, assets, benefit plans, leave accruals. It's the same items we saw set up for the wizard and assigned to particular users so that they can manage it. Now, in one place, you're able to see everything. Across the top, I can clearly see the date that this happened, the user, the termination date and reason, as well as if this person is truly terminated, eligible for rehire, which offboarding template was used, and the notes. So this makes it very easy for the administrator, after it's all said and done, to come in and look at everyone's work just to make sure everything went through properly. The direct deposits are located under Employee Management Employee Pay Direct Deposits. This is where we would change from inactive to active if desired, so that the last check is deposited to the account. Now, we did see that when we were going through the wizard, we said that this was going to be a check. If you wish, you can go to these areas of iSolve just to make sure that everything happened the way you wanted it to when this is first built for you and when you first begin using it, just as going to employee management, employee maintenance in the general page to ensure that this person is listed as terminated. Now, a very easy way to know that is if you go to that area, you're always going to be presented with the employee list. If you don't find that person there, toggle and filter your employee list to show you terminated employees. And then, of course, a very important change would be making sure that the self-service email, so the employee self-service email, is changed from work to personal. That way they can continue to get their very own pay stubs and W-2s after they've left your company. If you would like, you can go to the jobs page, so employee management, employee maintenance job, and you can take a look at who the new supervisor is. And I've shown you here that sure enough, Ethan Money has been assigned as the new manager. If your employee was terminated within a pay period and they have hours on the clock, or either they have earning hours that will show pay, you are still going to see them on your time entry grid. So don't worry about that. You can go to payroll processes individual time entry if you wish, and you can create that additional check. If you have never created an additional check, please refer to the payroll processing training videos to learn how to do that under the individual time entry. And if you wish, you may also go to Employee Management, Employee Pay, and you can look at the earnings deductions and garnishments just to make sure that everything turned out the way you wanted it to. And I have faith that it will by going through the wizard. And here at the end of the presentation, we have frequently asked questions that you can look over. And we thank you for joining us today for your offboarding wizard training.